Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host, JJ48, and we are going to be continuing tonight with Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Uh, Hopefully, the sound levels and everything will work out a little better this week than they did last week. Alright, so hopefully, everybody can hear the game audio. And as you can see, of course, we start back in the North Castle because we always start in the North Castle. That is going to make our game take a little bit longer as we go on, as every time we die, or get a full game over, we'll have to start back here and make our way back to wherever we were. So if you'll remember last week, we had discovered that there was another Princess Zelda. That's right, I have down thrust now. Who was in an enchanted sleep, and it's up to us to return the 6 crystals to the 6 palaces, unlocking the Great Palace so that we can recover the Triforce of Courage and awaken the old Princess Zelda. So, I believe we left off in Palace 3 over here. Sorry, I've been playing a bit of Breath of the Wild on my own time, so having to remember my controls again. So I did get a question. Someone asked me a question this week after watching the video. They pointed out that we commented on the columns being different for the palaces, and were wondering if there was any other kind of theme going on. And honestly, I don't see any kind of theme in this game as far as if by that we mean something like, you know, having a water palace and a fire palace, or anything of that nature. Future games will get that, but currently the only differences are the column styles, the colors of the palaces, and the brick style, which I neglected to point out last week, but I'll point it out when we see it. You can see this style is kind of these large reddish bricks. Some of the other palaces have slightly different styles. Okay. Trying to remember where we were last week, because I remember we already got the raft. So the only thing we need to do is beat the boss here. There. Had many a death due to jumping onto a platform and a bot knocking me into lava, so don't particularly care to. Oh, no, this was the way to the raft. Okay. The difference in palaces already, even just with the different columns, is a bit of a change from the first Zelda game, as well as the different brickwork. You might recall in the first Zelda game, we had all the palaces used kind of the same, had the same blocks and the same, the gargoyle things, what did we say they were? The Mohawk guy and the little dragon. They were all the same in that regard. The only difference was most of them had different colors, and most of them had different colors, and we had the different shapes. Okay, how do I want to deal with this guy? I can lure him over here. There we go. Ah. I think I mentioned last time I'm not very good at the jump stab strats, and I'm even worse in an enclosed area. Okay. Probably not going to be able to do much this life. Do what we can, but hopefully we'll just be able to okay. This boss is Rebanak. You may notice he is essentially one of the blue iron knuckles on horseback. Alright, this is the only, as far as I know, I think this is the only blue iron knuckle that you can kind of kill that way. Get him into a corner and then just bounce on his head. But it does make him a little bit more bearable than some of his brethren. And again, we were commenting last time, pointing out that for the second game in a row, these bosses don't appear to be minions of Ganon. They're actually here as guardians of the statues and ultimately of the Triforce. Which, you have to wonder how much use I'm really getting out of these. Like, is that... Now that I've beaten 3 of the Guardians, will they ever come back, or were they just kind of one-time purchases for the royal family? So with that, I believe we are pretty much done with this continent, other than coming back here for the North Castle whenever we die. And so now we are heading on to Eastern Hyrule. Again, facing tektites that we can't actually damage without fire. Is there a cave down here? No. Oh, the cave was over there. Neglect to I neglected to look up what all the enemy names were for this stream, so I'll try to remember some of them. And it doesn't help that a lot of them are were kind of one-offs, that they only appeared in this game and then either didn't appear again or were given different names when they reappeared. That way for 500 points, which, knowing me, we're most likely just going to die before we even get a chance to use it. But now, let's see, we've already been here. This was Nibiru. Oh. Yeah. I just want to heal up a bit. Did we talk to the people in here? Oh yeah, 'cause it's the guy who thinks that he could walk on water if he had boots. And we got the thirsty lady here, so I think we're pretty much done with this town. Other than as a stopping point. So these guys, I do recall, are called Eggmen, because for some reason the normal bats in this one are called eggs, not geese, despite being functionally. And the lizard thing on the floor there is actually a Zora. So, in case you don't remember, Zoras were the head sticking out of the water that would shoot at us in the first game. And apparently this is what they look like on land. Octoroks, which actually looks surprisingly like the Octoroks from the first game. Not quite the same, but this was Darunia. There's no one there. So the main reason I came back here, because we already got the upstab here. I just want to actually talk to the lady that we need to help this time. Been telling off so many of the people for, we find an item and then they just take it away from us, so we'll actually have somebody ask us this time. Rescue the kidnapped child on the island. Powerful knight lives in the state. Yes, we already met him. He told us how to do that. Stab up. Seems odd that you can't stab bubbles, but... I know I'm probably playing this a little overly cautious, but there's no time limit, and I'm not the most skilled player in the world. That we saw in the first game. And here we have Maze Island. So, as its name suggests, it is a large maze with a couple hidden spots. The lizard folk, I forget what they're called in this one, and here is the kidnapped child. So apparently, I don't know if the lizards were acting autonomously or if they... why, but for whatever reason they decided to kidnap the child. Wait a second. Where am I trying to go? Magic, always nice. Geru are the lizards. Alright. I think they'd mind if we just call him Gary instead. Just because I know I'm going to forget Geru. So over on this continent, the lizard folk, you might notice, in some ways they're very similar to the moblins or the iron knuckles we've encountered. They'll attack either high or low, and back to the original pillar toppers, as well as different brick style from the first palace. So the lizard folk, the Geru, will attack either high or low. They'll have a shield they can block. The orange ones have a spear that they that they can swing much faster than the sword of like the iron knuckles, so it can come as quite a surprise. Have to get your timing down a bit better. The red ones, don't think we've encountered any yet, but the red ones have a mace that actually cannot be blocked with the shield, and then the blue ones have a mace that they throw. Just to make sure that you have all kinds of fun. Okay, can't. Okay, made it without one jump, good. That was helpful. So I guess knowing that the royal family created these palaces does help to explain why some of the statues have magic in them. Because that would seem kind of odd if the palaces were made by enemies. Here we go, boots. Ow. That's the main thing I wanted to do before dying here. Although if we can make it out without dying, I guess we should do that. We got boots, which we already had boots, but maybe these ones will let us walk on water. I think there's another key at the end. Ow. That guy was not so helpful so far as throwing himself into lava like the other one was. So this is one reason I think the game is going to take a little bit longer as we get into these last three palaces, is in addition to the palaces getting harder and the enemies getting tougher, the fact that we have to start at North Palace each time, and once we get over here into Eastern Hyrule, we don't even have roads that we can rely on to, for safe travel much of the time. I say as I walk on a road. Show of hands, when we saw the Zoras in the first game, how many people thought they would look like, end up looking like lizard dinosaur things, half the size of Link? Hey, the boots do let us walk on water. What do you know? And I completely forgot I need to go visit town and drop off this kid. He probably doesn't want to accompany me through a palace full of bad guys, and I don't want to hear him just constantly yammering on about Paw Patrol or SpongeBob or whatever he's talking about these days. Like that the music when we enter town actually does sound rather peaceful and nice. Helps you feel safe as well as actually being safe from the complete lack of monsters here. Alright, yes, you are welcome to him. shield gets stronger, which... you recall the wizard enemies, maybe you do, that we briefly encountered, just kind of disappearing and appearing. Those are called wizards in this game. For some reason they did not make them wizroads. And they shoot magic along the ground that they can only be defeated if we reflect it back to them using our shield. And to do that, we need the magic spell to strengthen our shield, as well as other uses. I think it also lets us block the some like the unblockable hammers and things. But I don't usually cast it just just for stuff like that, so... Did that Octorok just jump on the air? A little bit of a double jump in. I did learn from looking at the enemies this week, because I didn't memorize the names, but I was looking at them, and the one that I think I kept referring to as a jumping spider last time is apparently actually supposed to, based on the official artwork, it's supposed to look more like an armadillo or something. So I apologize for getting that one so wrong for probably something like 30 years now. That's right, we need a key to go that way. We don't have a key. Attack's the next thing that'll go up, which will be very helpful. We already went that way and we needed to go down again. Oh, let's try it. Right, we can block his shots, which also means they don't go back to him. Careful, I don't get any experience if you fall into the lava. You guys weren't here before. Yeah, so see, we can block their shots, but unless I cast Reflect, I can't actually return their shots and beat them. And this is the elevator that we saw before, where we went over and dropped down. So let's see what goes this way. See, completely impervious. Okay, it's gonna be one of these rooms. rooms that are filled with blocks like this because when you try to downstab enemies, you often end up just going through the ground and throwing off your fighting. Do we know what these guys are called? They're like Stalfos, but they've got helmets on them. Helmets and looks like upper chest armor. I guess I was just... Oh, sure, I can't physically attack you, but you can physically attack me. I guess just because I don't have the wiki open doesn't mean that someone else can't. I think I'm going to need to... There we go. I'm going to need jump to be able to get up there and get that key. Whoever put me onto that jump stab strategy last week, that is much easier than the way I've been doing it. Thing is, I don't recall how completionist these castles are. If you need to get every single key or not. Also, considering we got the magic key last game, and that's why those guys are irritating in rooms with lava. Get a key like this, but I can at least... Okay, good. Dead now. bad. We got the magic key last game, and apparently we either got rid of it or it doesn't work on these doors. Which I guess makes some amount of sense, since these palaces were made by a king hundreds of years ago, and the dungeons last game could have been much more recent than that. So I guess the hundreds of years, the royal family doesn't have to use the same keys throughout the centuries. Oh boy, hope I can beat this palace before we die. Or at least get to 2,000 points. Okay. So I took all of our magic, but here we go face Karik. And for those of you who have read The Hobbit, I don't believe that this is what Bjorn named his the rock in the river after, but it does sound very similar. And somehow we managed to not die there. And that's great. It means that we will get to level up before we get a game over. Alright, that's 4 palaces down. 2 more to go before we get to the Great Palace. Hey! Attack 5 is enough to kill those guys in one hit now. You'll also notice the Aikman, before we got to level 5 attack, it took us 2 hits each to kill them, whereas over on the Western Hyrule, we were able to do it with only one hit each. So even familiar enemies are getting stronger when they're on this part of the island. And despite all my doubts last time, the boots do indeed allow us to walk on water. Only certain parts of the water. It doesn't allow us to just roam freely. There were a couple places. Not a big fan of the levers. Attacking there. Okay, this is where I was looking for. Okay, it was actually probably a bad idea for me to pick that up. Probably should have left it until we ended up respawning. And then... Okay, so that's the... I thought it was up here. there's another path. I don't recall. Here it is. There we go. Get another life container. That will be very helpful. Let's go see what the architecture is for Palace 5. So we see the same columns as Palace 2, and we see the large bricks, although now has 2 divots in them. Divots are, maybe those are some brass or something. Again, we can't pick up keys while in fairy form because we need a sword to stab the key for some reason. Or maybe it's just because the key is the same size as the fairy, and that's probably be pretty heavy for her. Again, probably shouldn't have picked that up. Well. Okay, well, those guys are going down a bit easier now, so that's good. Let's see which way we want to go. Oh, we have some actual stained glass on the windows. That's kind of nice. And the fire monk things, I believe, are called magos. Oh. On. Ow. Magic drop out now. There we go. Since we're already collecting pea bags, might as well keep collecting them. If we're particularly fortunate, maybe we'll end up I think this is a dead end. Unfortunately, it's not an 800-point P-bag. This guy will drop magic. Don't recall. I know there's a set pattern to how it drops, but... That was uncalled for. Threw fire directly into my elevator, so I couldn't even use it to escape. Very rude of him indeed. I still feel like that's an awful lot of graves for a town, considering the size of the towns. Dude, I just wanted to say I am sorry for doubting your words about the boots. They totally did let me walk on water. Unless that was an ability I already had and just never tried it out. Come on. Lady, give me magic. Okay, liking the timing of these ones. Exploring to the left. I guess we should probably go finish that up before we start going in other directions. Otherwise we'll get even more lost than we probably already are. Now. I should not be struggling this much with an orange knight. I think for them, my classic strategy might even be just a little more efficient. guessing it's some kind of decoration of the brick, but with these two little buttons on it, this always made me think of, looked like it was kind of like steel plates bolted on or something. Fire is irritating, but fortunately it doesn't move very far. Travel very far. Ah. I don't know how other people do it, but for me the blue iron knuckles are almost never worth actually fighting. If at all possible, I will try to avoid them rather than go toe-to-toe against them. Okay. We're still on our first life, so we're good. So this guy, let's jump over him. And then I'll die to the red one. So, what does the P stand for on the bags? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just like points. Oh. Okay. I guess we can fight the boss first, then we won't have to come back here. Okay. I think that's... This is Guma, who's, in my opinion, one of the toughest bosses in the game. Okay, he goes over there apparently gets a little bit glitched, which normally I don't like beating enemies due to glitches, but you know what? In your case, I think I'll make an exception. Because I really don't like fighting you. Usually he's pretty tough just because that ball and chain he has packs a wallop, and the timing on it, like by the time he pulls it out to start attacking, you only have a very small window to try to dodge him. Alright, see, we're going back in. I'm gonna risk it. And you notice now we are at 2,200 out of 2,500, which means if we get 300 more, we can level up life instead. Probably not going to risk it to the point of trying to level up attack instead, but I think our magic is pretty decent at the moment, so I don't mind going for life first. Which means I'll go for a nice easy 50 like that. can't jump straight up on them, it gets a lot tougher. Because then I start kind of drifting across them instead of... Alright, so I have to try to remember where the item is in this dungeon. Okay, this is not... Dude. Ah, shoot. With jump, I actually think I jumped too high for the jump and stab in the visor strats. Let me see. Because if I can kill him... it's too bad. That would have been our points right there. Of course, he'd die as soon as there was a fireball under me. Oh boy. There we go. Alright. Life will go up, which will be very useful. It's useful as long as we don't get, like, a instant kill, you know, falling in lava or something. Sadly, getting more life does not help you swim in lava. And for those of you who might be wondering, I don't know if I explained adequately before, we beat the boss, but we have not yet gotten the item from the dungeon. And we're going to need that item to proceed. I really hate these. Okay, this is not a fun hallway. Okay, I do still have a key. That's good, because I think this is an item room. Dude, I was doing my victory pose. Knock it off. Alright, so the good news, I think, is we are now done with the palace. I'll see if I can get out without game overing, but I'm gonna level with you, that's a definite possibility. Yes, the skeleton guys that fall from the ceiling are called Stalfos, but the ones that have like the big horned heads they're called something different. They're basically Stalfos wearing a fancy helmet, but that's enough of a difference, I guess. The game decided to give them, Nintendo decided to give them a different name. Parutamu? Okay. Okay, so apparently they're called Parutamu. Which is one thing I did notice looking through a lot of the Zelda 2 enemy names. A lot of them, especially the ones that weren't given names in the previous Zelda, it sounds like they just kind of kept a Japanese name and didn't translate it or try to localize it or anything. Which does seem a little odd. But then you also have some like Wizard who, for whatever reason, they just called Wizard instead of calling it Wizrobe, even though they already had those enemies in the previous game. Alright, and it has turned to stone, so we are gone. Down here. See, so we could get over there through here, it's just be much less pleasant. I'm gonna go into town, make sure I heal up. Let us just hope that none of the enemies ever get boots, or they would be able to walk on water too. I forget if I said it, but thank you for looking that up for me. Alright, so down here, now we have a River Guardian. Who does not move when we try to hit him with a hammer, but he will move when we play the flute. Which, between this and the last game, I'm beginning to think that Link just is a horrible flutist. Apparently we're heading into Lizard Man territory. And there's also... in case you're wondering, the reason I'm kind of jerking back and forth a little bit as I walk past them is because they will throw it wherever they anticipate you being based on how you're moving. So if I'm walking forward, they'll aim a little bit ahead of me, and then I can pull back and avoid, and then they'll throw behind me instead. So see, I thought, is there a cave? There is a cave up there. Okay. Boots don't help me walk on that water, apparently. There's too much ground in that water to really walk on, I guess. When I was in college, I encountered a scorpion in our dorm room sink one time. I guess I should be thankful that it didn't have one monstrous eye and shoot fire out of its tail. go for a fairy. There's a red one. You can see he swings a mace, which can break through our shield. And the enemies kind of ruined the reveal I had, but this was all forest tiles before. By using the hammer, I was able to clear away some of the forest and find this town. This is the hidden town of Kasuto, so named because it is the town of Kasuto and it is hidden. Okay, and they had to flee the non-hidden town of Kasuto. You deserve my help, follow me. And move here. Okay. So there's also a secret at the edge of town. Here we have our final magic container. Our magic skill can still go up to make spells cheaper, but this is the maximum amount of magic we can have. The old man who remains has magic. I don't know why this one house doesn't have an opening in the back to go to the basement. Instead, you have to go through the chimney. Through the fireplace. Alright, he gave us the please spell. Oh, no, he gave us the spell. Which I was gonna say seems kind of pointless and confusing, but then again, we are in a kingdom where every single female in the royal family has to be named Zelda, so I guess confusing and pointless is just kind of what they do. Oh, that might be it. Maybe they got the old man got a little paranoid after the last town got hit, so. Alright, we've finally got a magic key, which means we do not need to get keys anymore in dungeons. Technically, there's probably been a few times where we could have gotten through without a key anyway, because if we use the fairy spell, we can actually fly through locked doors. But I tend to use the fairy spell, I tend to use my magic on life or shield or jump, so I don't often have a lot of magic available to use the fairy spell. Fortunately, these guys haven't figured out how to jump, so they'll just stay there stabbing and swinging maces at a wall. Also, it's interesting that these are the Tektites, same as the jumping enemies that we had in the first Zelda. And they've gotten a lot tougher since then. In the first Zelda, they were pretty much an early game enemy that, you know, we could just kill in one shot. In this one, they are suddenly a lot more challenging. And we can't even hurt them unless we have, unless we use the fire spell. Make sure I have fairy ready, in case I fall down. Okay. Yep, and this is Kasuto. The deserted town of Kasuto. But we were told that there was an old man who remains, who still has magic. Can give you most powerful magic. The Thunder Spell. Which I think currently uses just about our whole life bar, our whole magic bar to cast. So as you can see, we are being accosted by invisible enemies, which is so much fun. Especially since there's not a town nearby, I'm gonna just keep on trying to get full magic and full life before we tackle the 6th and final of the regular palaces. And so far there's a large number of okay, well, I'll try one more time. If this one doesn't do it, then I'll just move on. Okay. There we go. And we do have the 3rd style of columns, so we've had 2 of each style now, and we're back to the large bricks. This one with a little bit of a speckled effect to it. Despite my prediction that this second part of the game was going to take much longer, we already have as much or more progress than we had last week. We completed the 3rd palace and then got 2 more. I don't think I need to go there. That's going to be a dead-end room, and we got the magic key now. That in the previous Zelda, when we got the magic key, we got an A for how many keys we had. Yep, okay, I guess we're going down. Whereas, it's we had an A for how many keys we had in the last game, whereas this game just shows a 0, or however many keys we actually have, and then we have to go see the picture of the key in order to realize that we have... no. Okay. Okay. So we have to get our way back over there. Fortunately, shouldn't be too bad. So we have 3 of these fences to pass. Okay, wow, thought I was gonna fall in there. Ah! I want to jump over that pit because I don't remember what's on the other side. Okay, I think we just have to go down here. Of course, I'd probably get to the other side and realize it's just a key or something. I just need to take a death here so that I can have enough magic. that I actually needed to do that. Otherwise I'm gonna feel pretty foolish. Like, more so than usual. Okay, so, here you might notice the lack of curtains. Rebanak is not the boss of this palace, he's just a mini-boss. And it kind of goes back to what we had discussed last game, about reusing earlier game bosses as mini-bosses. Does kind of help set a tone for the game of make it a I don't think I need to go up there. I think that's just a key over there. By using early game bosses as mini bosses, it kind of helps us realize just how serious things are getting. That, like, okay, you thought this guy was big bad before it, now he's just one of the minor characters in this dungeon, or palace. Okay, so again we find the boss before we find the item, and we're gonna see if we can... okay, my timing is terrible on this. There's no sense in casting Fairy because we can't beat the boss if we do. Ah. Okay. Again we fall to him. So I will give a heads up. This is probably going to take us a few times because I'm going to need to be able to try to remember what the rhythm is of every time he pops up. He'll pop up, and then after a certain amount of time he'll spit fire. And there's kind of a rhythm to it to be able to jump and dodge the fire, but it's been so long since I've played this, a little bit out of practice in that regard. So sorry about that, but hopefully you're enjoying the nice overworld music as we travel back. At the rate we're going, we will either finish the game next week, or else we will be spending a lot of time in Great Palace, beating our heads against the wall without beating the game. So either way, next week something is going to get beat. plenty of magic, so I actually do need a magic jar this time. So that does raise the question, though. The magic jars make sense if these are meant to be a challenge, rather than being like traps set by Ganon or something. But then why put the red knights in there? Why did we put red knights in some of the statues? Ha! Finally. I don't even care about you. I got over the pit. That was the big thing I wanted to do. Okay. Okay, I think this is the item room. No, this is the item room. It's not yet. This is the room where the gargoyles spit fireballs at you. And caged blue knights throw swords at you. In this room, there is actually a bit of false floor after the third pillar in there. That's why I was jumping around a bit. Come on over here, dude. Thank you. So we have a second Rebanak mini-boss. Okay. And this one guards the cross, which should be our final item in the game. And the cross is not, strictly speaking, a required item. It is possible to beat the game without it, and many people do, in fact, beat the game without it. But what it does is those invisible enemies that we saw in Kasuto, they also appear elsewhere, and the cross lets us see them. If you're wondering what they are, they're basically MOAs, just invisible. Okay, can't do that. That's right, even though they're incorporeal to me, they can still hit me with their magic. It also seems I was incorrect when I thought that Guma was going to be the toughest boss we'd face. I forgot that Barba, the dragon that we're facing now, can be easy, but only if you're practiced and get to timing down correctly, which I obviously do not. Careful downward stabbing of those things, because it's quite easy to just bounce on them right into the lava. Okay, that was a stupid place to crouch. Okay, fortunately, I have enough magic that I don't have to just die here. Unless we get a magic jar drop, though, I am going to have to take a death to refill my magic in a moment. Which I am going to go this way. No, we want to go this way anyway. The reason I'm hesitating is because when we drop down that pit, we're going to need to be able to cast Fairy to be able to get to the room that goes to the boss, which means I need more magic. So I'm going to look and see if I can get a magic drop, or if enemies end up killing me, then at least we'll have full magic at that point. Bag drop. Okay, no, not that way. I think I might need to have a talk with the current Princess Zelda, that if she's thinking of designing any dungeons for future generations to be able to get Triforces from, leave out the fire-dropping Moas. Okay, well, at least now we have full magic. No, so I do need to go this way, get to the elevator. Also, have the elevator sit flush with the floor rather than a foot above it. Okay, that's just taunting me now. Okay, so we have one shot at this before we're dead. Ah! Oh. Managed to recover. I got a little bit too greedy there. If he doesn't appear next to the platform I'm on, I should probably wait for him to breathe fire before moving over to him. Ah. I know there's people who can do this much faster than I can. Jump is actually working against me a little bit here, as it's tough to line up the shots on his head. I think it's easier without jump, but I'd rather stay alive. Almost there. Yeah. And we did it. Okay. So that was Barba. As far as his attacks, they're not all that worrisome. The only thing is the lava that he's swimming in, that the attacks can easily knock you into. So, thunder is still very expensive. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if we can't make it to the Great Palace tonight, because I believe if we save at the Great Palace, then we'll restart the game there. It basically becomes our new respawn point, as long as we're in the Great Palace. And then next week, if we don't make it to the Great Palace this week, we'll make it there next week. And we will attempt the Great Palace, and if we can't, if we don't manage to make it to the Great Palace, or if we can't beat the Great Palace, we can always, yeah, see, these are the invisible guys. If we don't manage to make it through the Great Palace, if the bosses, if it gets too tough, we need higher magic skill or more life or anything, bigger attack, then we might end up having to leave to try to grind out some levels. Is this getting... for some reason this is getting quieter every time I do it, I think. Yeah, sorry that was a bit slow, but I don't want to fall into the lava. This is all too common with these guys. Okay, we're gonna die here. Yep. Okay. So about 15 minutes. We'll have enough time for a couple tries at trying to get to the Great Palace. God, what are the flies called? The large flies that we sometimes see that just drop rocks on us. I think it begins with a G. I just know they're not the kind of flies I want in my house. Actually, I don't want any flies in my house, but especially not them. Not doing very well this time around. Ah. Okay. Come on down. Oh, sure, now you'll come down. Boone? Okay. Not at all what I guessed then. Whew. Oh, wow. Last jump, just barely made it. And that's why I didn't cast Fairy last time, because I want to save Fairy for encounters like this. Okay. I'm have enough to cast Fairy anyway, so... Ow, dude, stop. Okay, let's see if we can take care of this thing first. Nope, we can't. So Giroboku, is that these large eye guys? 'Cause I seem to recall, I remember coming across that name when I was looking up enemies, and I don't remember which one they were. Okay. Come on, can we make it? Yes. Okay, cave. At least there's no lava. That's good. Come on. Ow. Dude, please don't do that. Okay, just... Oh, why did I do that? I should have cast Fairy. Okay. Nope. Oh boy. We might not make it there this run. Oh, good. It's not even an orange one. Ah. Okay. I do know there's a way. I don't know if I'm skilled enough to do it. But there is a way to be able to get those the force tiles that we, or the invisible tiles that we'd step on and just enter a map, to replace those with an enemy tile. If you can get an enemy to run into you at the same time that you step onto it. That might be something worth trying, because with the enemy tiles we were able to at least clear them out and move on our way. In fact, since we were able to do that, I might rethink my fairy usage as well. Let's get fairy. Use fairy to skip through the those force tiles. Forced encounters. So first we're gonna have an orange lizard guy. Ah, of course. Ah. Let's do that. Ah! Wow, this is getting frustrating. We're already on our last life. So fun! Alright. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. Ah! Of course. Alright, well, so we didn't quite make it to the Great Palace. One thing I might do in preparation for next week, I might, maybe I should get on here and try to raise up my skills a bit. And if we do that, that might help us get there. And that's because that's just going to be going fighting a bunch of enemies for experience. Very long, tedious to watch, but I might be able to just do that off stream and come back with higher levels, which should help us get through a bit more. Especially more magic would be helpful. So I'll look into doing that. And apart from that, hope you all have a good week, and looking forward to seeing you next time. Take care.